Hi, my name is Cathy, and today we're going to be working on some things from Pilates that will be helpful to your neck and your shoulders. A lot of us are suffering from too much time on the computer because a lot of people are working from home or they're doing Zoom sessions. So what that tends to do is we have our head forward and we're leaning forward a lot, and that tends to overstretch the muscles in the upper back and to kind of tighten up the muscles in front of your body. So it kind of pulls you forward, also puts a lot of extra pressure into your neck. So we want to try to do a couple of things that will open through the front of your chest, hopefully work those upper back muscles, but also do some things to help loosen the neck, because the neck is also impacted by this because a lot of us have our head forward looking at the screens. But we also are suffering from, our wrists are unhappy too. So we'll do a couple of things first for your wrists. So we're going to do something to warm them up first, and then we'll do 2 stretches. Often people will feel the stretch in one direction but not the other, and that's pretty normal. Most people are tight in one direction or not the other, or you could be tight in both. That's fine too. So first we're just going to twirl your hands around. So you're making circles. You're twirling from the wrist, not the elbow or the shoulder. And I like to do about 10 each way. Okay, so we've twirled those wrists around, and now we're going to do the first stretch. So the first one, your fingers are pointing straight down, right? And the palm of the hand is facing in towards your body. So you're going to take your other hand, and we want to take your thumb, and your thumb is going to the palm of your hand, and you're wrapping your other fingers around, and you're pulling your hand towards your elbow on that side. So I'm going to turn so you can get a better idea of what that looks like, right? So we're here, and we're going to pull the fingers back and hold that. So you're feeling the stretch here in the top of your wrist. And you can hold that for about 30 seconds. And again, you may or may not feel a big stretch in this direction. Like I said, everybody's a little different. But it's still good to stretch them out, especially with all that time on the keyboard. And of course, we're doing both, right? So I'm only doing one on each side. So I would recommend doing at least 3 times. And you can do it during the course of your day as you're working on the keyboard. Take a little break, stretch your wrist out. Good idea. Then the other stretch is kind of like you're doing stop in the name of love, right? So the palm of your hand is reaching forward, fingers are pointing up. Same thing, thumb to the fingers towards your wrist, and the other 4 fingers are in the front, and you want to pull the wrist back or pull your hand back. And again, we're going to hold that so you can see what that looks like. So I start here, and then I pull back. So that stretch is going to be underneath your wrist. Again, these are always really good to do if you're spending a lot of time on the computer. Again, same as the other. We want to hold that stretch for about 30 counts. And probably do it at least 3 times. Okay. So next we're going to move on to your neck. So it's good to do these because even when the neck is tight and you start to do these, it helps to improve your range of movement the more that you do. So first, very simple, you're going to lower your chin down to your chest, and then you're going to lift your gaze, look up as high as you can. So you lower your chin down into your chest and look up. Again, you might find a little discomfort. If this is very painful, you want to stop before you have a big pain. because maybe you're just so tight, you don't want to force your range of movement. You move however you can move. And as I said, the more you do these, the more your range of movement increases, although it still feels the same. Good. Now we're going to come back to the center. And you want to pay attention to your shoulders when you do this. So I would recommend each of these doing at least 10 times, right? So here, we're going to turn your head to one side. So I'm going to bring my chin towards my right shoulder. And I want to make sure that my left shoulder stays back. Especially if you're tight, the shoulder will tend to come with you as you turn your head. The muscles in the neck on that side being so tight, they would pull the shoulder at the same time. So you want to make sure those shoulders stay back. And then we'll come back to the center, and we'll turn your head to the other side again, being aware of your right shoulder staying back. And then we'll come back to the center. And again, right shoulder and center, and then we'll go left shoulder. Now I'm doing these a little quickly. I would hold for about 10 counts on each side, right? 10. Now, this next one is the most challenging. Most people find this very frustrating because they feel that their range of movement isn't what it should be. So what we want to do is you're going to lower your ear towards your right shoulder. And make sure when you do that again that you're not twisting your shoulder forward, you're not pulling the opposite shoulder up, and then we'll come up, and then we'll go to the other side and come up. And you might notice that my range of movement is different on each side. Because like most people, I am tighter on one side of my neck than the other. And again, don't feel that the goal is to touch your ear to your shoulder. I don't remember ever seeing anybody do that. So you're just going for whatever your range of movement is right now. Like I said, it usually increases as you're doing it, but it still feels really tight. Good, and then we'll come back up to the center. Another good thing to do is a lot of different ways to approach this. So with your head being forward, is talking about how your back gets overstretched from leaning forward like this. Same thing happens to your neck. So the muscles in the back of your neck get overstretched, and the ones here in the front get tighter. So like I said, for this one, there's a couple of different ways to approach it. I like to do hands interlaced behind the head, index finger at the base of your skull, elbows in your peripheral vision, and just very gently press your head back into your hands. And then you can start to lift your gaze, look up, keep pressing your head back into your hands, keep looking up, 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 and hold that. And then we'll come back to our neutral position again. What you can also do, this is a good thing to do when you're driving in your car, or sitting anywhere where you're in a chair where it's high enough that the back of your head would be supported, is to sit there and kind of gently press your head back into your headrest or the back of that chair and hold it so you feel a contraction in the muscles in the back of your neck, and then you can relax that. And that's another good way to approach that. So now that we've worked on our neck a little bit and we've kind of warmed our wrists up, I'm going to lower down onto your back. And you want to lie down in a way that feels comfortable for you. So for me, I'm going to have my knees bent, my feet hip distance wide. You can have your legs out straight. I think that for a lot of people that's not the best position, but some people are more comfortable that way. So if that's you, go for it. So we're going to mobilize the muscles in our upper back. So we want to reach the arms straight up to the ceiling with the palms of the hands facing each other. And just take a moment there. Think more about the back of your body. So feel your shoulder blades down into the mat. And you don't want to have your hands too close together, right? So they're as wide as your shoulders are, and you can even go a little bit wider than your shoulders if you're very, very tight. Important with all the things that we're going to do is to keep your elbows and the wrists straight. It really doesn't work as well if you bend your elbows or if you bend at your wrist. And try to have a really straight hand, straight fingers, straight wrists, straight elbows. And we want to try to use the breath. So on an in-breath, we want to reach both of your arms up towards the ceiling so you're lifting your shoulder blades up off the mat. And then as you exhale, you're going to let the shoulder blades drop back down. So you really want to feel here that you're moving from your upper back, right? So you feel that mobilization. One thing to be on the lookout for when you reach your arms up, you don't want to have your chin start to jut up to the ceiling, so you don't want the back of your neck to shorten. So make sure that you're able to just keep everything else stable, that you're only moving from your upper back. So if you're struggling with that, go slower, go smaller. And sometimes it's also nice to do single arms. So do your right arm only, and then your left arm only, and then we'll do the right arm again, and the left arm again. So again, for each of these, 10 is a nice number to do. So those were our arm reaches, and now we're going to take that into arm circles. So these arm circles are very small. You're making a circle on the ceiling with your fingertips. So the range of movement is you start a little higher than your shoulders with the arms, and you reach to the top of your head, and small opening. So these are very small circles. And again, 10 each way is good. And you do want to feel your shoulder blades on the mat. So make sure when you're doing these, you're not pulling the shoulder blades up. You want to feel as if you're moving your arms from your upper back. Okay? And then we're going to take the arms, keep them straight, and on an exhale, you're going to reach the arms open again. My arms are a little higher than my shoulders. And inhale, bring the arms back up. Again, shoulder height when you come back up, don't bring them closer together. Again, with these, elbows and wrists stay straight, and it's pain-free range of movement. So if you have any shoulder issues and you start to feel a twinge on the opening, stop where that twinge is. And don't feel that, oh, my other arm can go further, so I will. No, just have your arms match each other, and then we'll bring them back up. Unfortunately, it's very common for us to have shoulder issues, especially if you're over the age of 40. It's just one of those things that happen. And especially women tend to get something called frozen shoulder. And yeah, I understand it's very painful. I've been very fortunate not to have ever experienced that, but I understand it's really painful. So we did our opening out to the side, and you're going to reach the arms or change the arms so the palms of the hands are facing towards your body. And we call this next one rib cage arms. And the reason for that is we want to feel as if we're moving the arms by controlling the rib cage. So if we reach our arms back without paying any attention to what we're doing, usually our rib cage pops up off the floor. So we're not wanting to do that. We want to keep the rib cage down on the floor. So two things that we use to keep that happening, we use our breath and we use our abdominal muscles. So exhaling allows us to contract our abdominal muscles. So we want to be aware of that. So we're going to take a breath in, exhale, focus on the rib cage pulling into the floor, and then reach your arms back behind you. Inhale to bring the arms up towards the ceiling. So here too, if you have shoulder issues, sometimes going a little wider, separating the arms a little bit, could be more comfortable for you. So again, we're using that exhale to reach the arms back. Inhale to take the arms up. Good. Or exhale, reaching back. Inhale, take them up. We'll do one more. Exhale, reach back. And then coming up. And now we're going to change the arms a little bit. So we're back to palms of the hands facing each other. And shoulder blades are down on the mat. And we're going to exhale, reach your right arm back behind you as high as you can without bending the elbow. Bring the arms back up, and then we'll exhale, reach the left arm back. Inhale to come up. And again, the elbows and the wrists are straight. So the goal is not touching the floor. You're not worrying about that. Sometimes we want to touch the floor, so we'll bend the elbow. That's not what we're looking for. Just reaching back as far as you can with a straight arm. We'll do one more here. Okay. So these are all very nice on your upper back and your shoulders. If you've found that these are really helpful and you might want to make them a little bit more intense, what you can do is to, if you have a yoga block at home, if you have a foam roller, you can lie down on the foam roller, because what that does is it gives you even more possibility for opening the front of your chest if we elevate the spine, the center of your body. So what you can also do is you can roll up a blanket, right? And you would place it, or a pillow, and you would kind of place it in between your shoulder blades, right? So you'd want it to be from the top of your head, maybe to about here. So you could roll up a towel, a blanket, use a pillow, and what that would do, it would give you even more possibility of opening through the front of your chest. So that's just a couple of suggestions. And if you don't want to do it that way, the way that I just did it, that works too. Like I said, it just goes a little deeper if you can open the front of your chest a little bit. And even just to do that, lying on it is helpful without doing anything else. So we're going to come on to your sides next. A little bit more work on the shoulders. So we're going to let your bottom arm bend and be like a pillow. And so shoulder blades into your back is very important to help our upper backs and our shoulders. So a lot of shoulder injuries happen because we've got our shoulder blade off of our back and we're doing something, we're picking up something heavy or we're moving in a way that puts extra stress in the shoulder joint instead of the back supporting you. And that's where a lot of injuries can occur. So just to take our awareness in space where our shoulder blade is. So palm facing down, straight elbow, and just kind of reaching forward, feel the shoulder blade come off your back and pull the shoulder blade back in, right? So again, mobilization. So this is very similar to what we did lying down on our back. And now gravity is working on our body in a different way, which is why we do this. Good. And now we're going to bring your arms straight up to the ceiling with the palm of your hand facing forward. So feel your shoulder blade into your back, and you're going to rotate your upper arm in your shoulder joint. So I'm not using my elbow. I'm not doing this with my hand. It's all in the shoulder joint. So movement is very good for our joints because it helps to get that synovial fluid, which is like moisturizer for the joints, gets that moving, right? So now, got my palm facing forward, but now I'm going to change that. I'm going to bring the palm of my hand down towards my hip. So, for those of you who do yoga, it's just like you're doing a sun salutation with one arm lying on your side. So you're going to rotate your palm to face up, reach the arm up and over. Again, pain-free range of movement, and then you're going to rotate your palm to face up and lower down to your hip. So rotate palm up. Good, and rotate palm again. Right. So again, pain-free range of movement here. So I'm lucky, like I said, I don't have a shoulder injury, so my range is pretty good. So you can do about 5 to 10 of those, whichever feels good for you. And now I'm going to lie down. I would be happier if my head was on a block or a pillow, but that's fine. But keep that in mind if you want to do this at home. So I'm here lying down, palm on the floor is facing up, top arm, palm is facing down. when I have my shoulders and hips in line with each other. So the first direction I'm going to do is a little easier, which is why we're doing it first, and then we'll go the other way. So the top arm stays straight, so I'm going to keep my fingertips on the floor for as long as I can. So I'm kind of making this big circle. And then I'm going to drop my fingertips to the floor behind me, and I'm going to look as I'm going. So I'm making a big arc with my arm and coming back to my other hand. So think of this as a circular movement, right? So I'm making a circle. And again, when your fingertip touches the floor, you want to open out to the side. Again, pain-free range of movement. If you need to make your circle smaller, make it smaller. And then I'm going to go the other way. So I start to reach over my head, reach back behind me, opening the chest, and we'll come back and palm to palm. And we'll do that again. Good. And we'll go palm to palm. So you could do about 5 of those or more. And we'll do a couple on the other side. So again, you always want to do both sides. Right? So the first one that we did, the arm was straight up, right? And I think, I can never remember which order I did it in, but I think what we did was we did palm facing down, reaching forward, pulling the shoulder blade off your back and plugging it back in. So forgive me if we did the other one first. But it's still all good. So again, remember mobilizing the upper back, feeling how your shoulder blade pulls into your back, very important. Good. And now we're going to raise the arm back up, right? Straight elbow, straight wrist, shoulder blade into my back, and I'm rotating my whole arm. And on that first one, I was giving myself a little help by trying to rotate with my hand. So don't do that. We all want to go a little further with our range of movement, and sometimes we're not doing the best movement for us. Right? Good. And then we reach the arm down towards your hip, palm facing down. Again, our little sun salutation, palm facing up, reaching the arm, straight arm, as far up as you can go. Rotate your palm to face up, lower back down into your hip, right? And you can, on all of these, 5 to 10. That's good. And then the last one that we did, arms straight out, palm to palm. So first we made our circle going down, circle back and around, palm to palm. So we're doing 2. Like I said, if you do these on your own, you could do 5 or as many as you want to. And then we go the other way. Straight arm reaches over. Keep the elbows and the wrists straight at all times. Right? Now I kind of cheated on that one. Yeah, so you want to try to keep your hands on the floor when you're going through those circles. Good. So those are a couple of things that I find are really helpful for opening up the front of your body to kind of counter all the work that we do that is not so great for our body because we work. So if you like what you saw, you can catch my classes every Tuesday night at 7:30. The link to sign up is on this video description, or you can visit the website, www.thestudio108.com. Thank you.